But Putin is running out of conscripts, and he knows very soon he's going to have to get the rich kids to the front line. And when that happens, and when they start dying, it sounds super cynical, that is when Russia will fold. So that's why I think Kursk is so important. If Ukraine can hang on, it could really, a little bit like Kursk changed the shape of the Second World War, Kursk, I think, has the potential to change the shape of this war as well.
Absolutely. You mentioned the losses of up to 2,000 a day for now. We'll be getting into that. Let's go a little more into the Russian mothers. How will that affect the counteroffensive? How will that affect conscription and everything like that?
Well, we shall see. I mean, a lot of us who've been, closely involved in the war from the start thought that, that would happen anyway. But it's amazing in these days of social media where everybody knows everything all of the time that they haven't got to understand this. But there is so much disinformation and propaganda out there. We might want to talk. I mean, the Russians have posted a video today of a British Challenger 2 tank destroyed in Kursk. But it's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. We could, and admittedly, I was a tanker as well. I spent thousands of hours in tanks in the Gulf and Afghanistan. So I could see that the video they were showing was rubbish. But
Ukraine is already using the ATACMS and Storm Shadows to make life hell for North Korean and Russian soldiers. As many of you may already know, Ukraine just got the permission to use the US ATACMS and UK Storm Shadows inside Russia. Well, guess what? It's already putting this to great use. In a single Storm Shadow cruise missile strike, Ukraine eliminated 18 Russian officers, 3 North Korean officers, and injured dozens more. More importantly, one of the top North Korea's general was injured in this strike. That's definitely not a good news for Kim Jong-un.
The position, as would any US armoured battalion, tank battalion too. So, 4 days, you can barely, I expect this bloke couldn't even clean his rifle. Even taking a sort of average, the Russians have probably lost 4,000 tanks, 4,500 tanks. And we're seeing some pretty antiquated Russian tanks on the front line now. T-62s, these are 1950s vehicles. Really, ancient. They're even getting kit out of sort of museums and stuff. Now they are turning tractor factories into tank factories, but even doing that, they're only churning out 20 or 30 tanks a month, but they're losing about hundreds. So I think the equipment thing is unsustainable.
Estamos acá presentándonos en la sede de Arcor para solicitar explicaciones por el despido de todo. Caros en dólares y no tan caros respecto a los sueldos de los trabajadores que ya recompusieron salario. Siempre es barato construir respecto de lo que es carecer, o sea, siempre es más barato hacer una habitación más que tener frío si tenés dónde. ¿Entendés? O sea, el material de construcción no es poco costoso, pero el beneficio de usar...
I think it's very telling. We haven't heard much about the Russian Air Force. They have been absent from this war, which is incredible because air power, you go to the American Staff College or the British Staff College and they'll say air power is what it's all about. Now, a lot of air power today and what we're seeing in Ukraine is taken over by drones, certainly. But, you still need sort of fighter jets and stuff at the moment. And the Russians don't seem to have it. When you come onto the Navy, the Russian Navy has pretty much been wiped off the planet. Unbelievable. The Black Sea Fleet has disappeared. And Ukraine is a country that doesn't have a navy or has a very small navy. So that is incredible.
CIA paramilitary operations officers.